Join Jonni C. and Mateo as we interview musicians, filmmakers, business owners, and community leaders and support our local community on utahmusicradio.com. Okay, here we go. Jonni C. and Mateo. Utah Music
Radio. You're listening to Radio.
All right, we are back.
Hi.
And
Yo.
So there we go.
There we go.
Gotta make sure Barry White's here. Barry.
Yeah, while we were on break, Barry White decided to show up. Or
We gotta get that
James Earl Jones decided
But Barry
Darth
White.
Vader came in. And
Barry always talks about love. He's a love guy.
I wish I
Barry.
could get that voice. I just wish.
I know.
wish.
Both my parents are professional opera singers, so I kind of have an advantage.
When I do that, I literally just sound like I sound like a screamo singer that is just trying to talk.
But
yeah, all right.
The thing is I'll just say this for all of the vocalists out there. Like seriously, like I got vocal ride scholarships all over the place, and college paid for everything, blah blah blah. But I haven't ever since I started recording bands and doing audio and being in the studio constantly and not using my voice. Like
Now you just sound like Mr. Slave.
no,
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
But no, like I start, like my daughter is constantly trying out and doing very successfully in musicals and all sorts of things. And I try to give her vocal lessons, which I used to do professionally. And I haven't been singing for a long time and been smoking a lot. And then I've been trying to sing with her. And I'm realizing, oh my God, just like I have always told all of my vocal students, your voice is a muscle.
Is your instrument,
and you need to fucking flex. You need to practice it. You need
100%.
to flex it. You need to use it all the time. And I need to get my voice back. I literally used to be a professional opera singer, and now I lost a couple octaves of range or something like that. Like, it's insane.
It's all practice. It's just like
is.
it's an instrument, and that's what not a lot of people realize is it is an instrument.
It is.
And if you don't practice it or keep it going, it will lack. It's like an engine. If you don't change the oil and keep it lubed up.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta keep your throat lubed up.
Oh shit!
I set that up for him.
Notice
I totally set. I just teed that right up for you.
Will you explain exactly how to do that? Like,
So what you do is you turn to your wife and give her a wink.
oh, that's how it works.
Yes.
Wait, I need to practice that shit.
You better practice.
Hey, honey.
Because you forgot. You already forgot Valentine's Day.
Oh shit, dude! I'm in the doghouse for real.
Yeah, you're in trouble. You're in trouble now.
All right, Johnny. Quick question here.
Sure, man.
Here we go. Let's. Here it comes. What was the moment you said, "I want to be a musician"?
I was.
Wow.
I was in my teens. No, I wasn't even in my teens. I was in my single-digit years. I started playing when I was 8 or 9. Around that age.
Was it bass? What was your first instrument?
So here's how it happened.
It's got to be piano.
How it happened was, as
all
my
of
wife
our
loves to say.
friends. So I come from a long line of musicians.
Okay. Gordon
Lightfoot, correct. My father was a musician.
Wait.
His father was a musician.
Gordon Lightfoot. Really?
Yeah.
Hold on.
We'll get into that story in a minute. Go ahead.
So his father was a musician. My grandfather. My grandfather was a multi-instrument player. So music's always been around me. But I remember going to a Kiss concert.
Okay.
And
Was that your first?
Kiss was my first concert.
Oh boy.
And I just fell in love with it. But let me strike back. That's when I knew I wanted to be a musician. I was already playing at that time.
Okay.
So I got in a fight with my mom. I ran away from home.
Oh boy.
Which was across the street.
Well, you know,
Right?
I mean,
That's what you do.
As one does in the
Correct.
single digits.
That's awesome.
All of my friends were over there. Now, I don't know if I should be mad that all my friends were there and I wasn't invited, right? I don't know.
There you go.
So
You're
maybe
like,
that speaks volumes now that I'm thinking
Hey
about
guys.
that. But they were all over there and they're like, hey, oh, cool, you're here. We're starting a band. I'm like, oh, cool, I want to be in a band. They're great. We need a bass player. I said, I'll play bass. What's bass? And that's how it started.
Isn't that isn't it
God.
spelled like a fish?
And then you put
Bass?
that fucking strap on your shoulder.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, well that feels weird pushing onto strings.
Yep.
And like, whoa, that makes a.
But I'll bet you the second you thump that low E.
It was so much fun. And so there was probably 7 of us there, horns and everything, and only 3 of us took it serious. So we became a 3-piece band, and obviously we had to do some lessons and that, but we were writing songs from day one.
Oh, that's
And that's where it started.
Nice.
We didn't
That's
we
awesome.
didn't really play other people's songs. I've been writing songs since day one.
So the nice thing is that you at least came from a musical background to where your parents were like, well, what are you going to do for a day job?
Yep.
That is one of my favorite lines from people when you say, well, I'm a musician. And they're like, well, that's great. What do you do for a living? And I'm sure now you've traveled the world. So you know, without a shadow of a doubt, I don't know if it's only in America, but when you're a musician and you're outside of America, you are revered as something much higher, like almost this was a gift from God. And they put you on a pedestal because you are a musician.
Yep.
Unlike here where they're like, well, that's great. What's your day job? Because I remember when I lived in Manchester, it took another Brit to turn around and say, yeah, John's a musician. And everybody's like, oh, okay, prove it. They didn't say, oh, what's your day job? They're like, prove it. First words out of their mouth was prove it. And so here's the amazing thing is that I went to an open mic jam. Now, when you normally think of an open mic jam in America, here, if you had anything more than 4 people, it would be a clusterfuck of sound.
Right.
They had 16 people on stage. There wasn't like anybody just took turns to go up. Everybody just went up on stage and you had 4 bass players,
Wow.
8 guitar players, 1 drummer, a couple of horns, and then you had just a myriad of guitar players and all that. But everybody got up on stage, and then I shit you not, everybody took their turn. Everybody was like, okay, we're going to do it in the key of E. They started playing, or the key of A, whatever. And then I came in and I would be on the drums, and then I would play. And what would have been normally a 4-minute song ended up being like a 22-minute song because everybody was taking their turn. So the bass player would take his turn doing a lead, and then the guitars would do their leads, and then horn section and all that. But it sounded great. No one stepped over anybody's toes. Nobody was trying to go over someone else or any of that shit. There was no egos involved. They were all there for one purpose, and that was to get up and play. And I shit you not, there was at least 16 people up on this huge stage. It was probably about as wide as this office here.
Okay.
And everybody was just lined up, and then the drums would have been over in this corner here. When it was done, everyone's like, yeah. And then at that point, when someone said, what do you do? And you say, I'm a drummer or I'm a musician, it took my ex to say, no, or introduce me as he's a musician, and then it just raised it up.
Yeah.
And then they just took you serious, and they're, oh wow, that's whoa. And then I come back here and they're looking at me like all cross-eyed, like, oh. So
yeah,
it was just ridiculous.
But then once you established yourself,
so did
as
a musician, then they're like, oh, do you want to play in my band? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? But you had to literally have another Brit say, yeah, he's a musician, or this is John, he's a musician. Because if I was to say prove it, when it comes from another Brit, they're like, wow. And
it means something.
Yeah, it means something.
Exactly.
So in your travels, how were you treated? Like, what was the best place you were ever treated when you went on tour?
My favorite place was playing in Japan.
Okay.
I love the culture. I love the people. I love the food. I just love everything about Japan. The way they treated us was just kind.
That's
know?
awesome.
And
I always wondered that.
Yeah, they're just nice people.
That's really cool. So you're providing not even a service, you're providing something that I would assume that they take way more seriously than we do in a certain type of way.
Yeah.
And then they want to provide for you, make sure that you know that you're welcome, and then take care of you afterwards and make sure that you have an incredible time home.
Yep.
That's just way cool.
Yep. That's what it was
like.
like.
What a culture.
I had blast. I've seen so many great musicians over there. That's why a lot of the bands play Japan. The musicianship is amazing. They don't care. It doesn't matter if it's a big venue or a small venue. They're there to have a fun time and just make it a great show. And the audiences, you think they start out very respectful. And that's something that I actually really appreciate, where the culture is a very respectful culture. And here, not necessarily. Right?
Yeah.
There's respect in our culture these days. What are you talking about?
But by the end of the show, it's just party on, and they're having a great time, and the ties get loosened, and and they let loose and have a good time.
Right.
I love that.
So where was the worst place?
Oh,
That's
Cuba. during a hurricane.
You know, there's
I bet that was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest, I bet that was really cool. Well,
honestly, there's never
I don't know.
been a bad gig. There's been gigs I haven't liked, but there's never been like, oh, I never want to go there again. Everywhere I've played is always been fun because look, I'm playing music.
Right.
Yeah,
I could be doing something else that I don't like, but I get to play music.
How could anything
for a career?
Exactly. Right.
How could I hate it?
Yeah.
And
How could I go, oh, that sucked? How can you do that? You can't.
How can you be in front of like even 30 people?
Right.
And be like, I hate this.
You can go, you can sit there and go, oh, this wasn't as good as maybe this show or that show, but you can't sit there and go, I never want to come back here and do this again. This is horrible. I absolutely hate it. Because look, you're very lucky to be able to play music as a career.
Yeah.
And it's very privileged to be able to do that. And a select few get to do it professionally for their job.
Yeah.
And the fact that I got the chance to do it meant a lot to me. And I would never, look that gift horse in the mouth because it was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
So what was the name of your first band?
Nightlight.
Oh, really?
Told you we were kids.
No way.
I love that.
Do you want to hear my first bands?
Yeah.
Monster Truck Madness.
Okay. I
Oh,
like
boy.
that.
All right.
Shit, what was the other one? Oh my
Sunday.
god. Yeah, I know. It's
You're
absolutely.
going to see a Sunday.
Oh, and this is such an incredible story. So Monster Truck Madness and son of a bitch. The other one is Not Until Monday.
Okay. That's actually a good one.
That's not bad.
I like that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And during that time period, like I had this.
Dan Murtaugh has a band called The Last Wednesday.
Really?
So there we go. We just need to get a couple of Tuesdays and Thursdays
Fridays,
in there.
yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Fridays.
Right.
Then we throw a full on like concert with a full week of music.
Yep.
Dude.
And it starts with Monday.
It starts with Monday.
I have to tell you this incredible story. So like during that time period, I totally broke my Geo Horizon 2-stroke engine. Little 2-door car, like a Geo.
Oh, Geo Metro.
Like a Geo,
Little 3-cylinder putt.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like this is like my second or third car I bought. Literally bought it for like $800 and stuff. And and the crazy thing is I didn't know how to take care of this thing. I was just a kid. And I had mostly had American cars until I had this one.
Oh boy.
And it had I got a low, I think it was low oil light on in the car. And I mean, this is in Rexburg, Idaho.
Oh, yeah.
And
Best
I'm like,
place to have a breakdown.
pull over. I actually make it to a gas station and I'm thinking to myself, I got this. I'm just going to put a quart of oil and bring it to the Jiffy Lube, whatever. I don't, So no, I think it was overheating. It was overheating. I don't remember. It had to have been overheating because the whole thing had to do with radiator fluid.
Okay.
So I ended up putting an entire gallon of radiator fluid into my oil instead.
Did you really?
Yes, I
Oh,
did.
no.
So, my friend, you
boy.
You have at this point lost your man card.
I know. Hey, I was way too young for this shit. Yeah, I was. So anyways, like you know what really happened? Like I did it, and I was like, yay! I man carded. I carded my manhood, and I was feeling so great about this. And, I actually drove it off the. Well, I tried. I tried to
Until
drive it
you
off
left a big
the lot.
plume of
No.
white smoke behind
It went about 100 yards, and then.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it did.
And that was it. And
A
so
whole
I left
gallon.
it there. Yeah, dude, I left it there, and I had a friend come pick me up, and then I went back to my stupid apartment, like in Rexburg, and then had a friend drive me back in the morning. Rexburg gets cold.
Oh, you kidding me? It gets freezing.
Yeah.
Bad.
So
What? Idaho gets cold.
come to find out,
No.
Who knew?
that
I know, right?
that putting the oil in,
Putting antifreeze in oil.
antifreeze into the oil. Like, so basically, what happened is it froze, expanded, and cracked my engine block. It just cracked the whole thing. So,
Well, yeah, because you put a gallon worth of water inside
Yeah.
your oil
Hello.
pan.
it was done.
And
So-
that pressure right there would blow out any kind of anything for that matter.
So
yeah.
I don't know. You sound like you maybe know Rexburg just just a little bit. So there was a club there.
Yeah,
called,
I do, yeah.
What was that? Roxy's, or it was?
I don't
called,
know. I go up there every year around Christmas and do shows.
Yeah, but there was that one fucking club.
I think it was Roxy's or
Riviera. No. So anyways,
I don't know. Yeah.
So that club. Anyways, so I had left my Geo Horizon, I think it was, or something, like in the parking lot there, because like I couldn't drive. It was done. I called so many places.
They probably laughed you right off the phone.
So
Maybe.
I had this guy drive by when I was trying to figure out what was wrong with my car, and he's like, "Hey, you know what? Is your car dead?" And like, yeah. And so I had purchased this car from someone else that I didn't know,
right?
Used, obviously, and only had it for like 4 or 5 months. And the whole entire back of the car, and you know how they have that like straight up so the whole thing was covered in stickers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, and they were all like serious punk, anti-cultural stickers.
Oh boy.
Anarchy.
Like anarchy all over the place.
Did he say, "Looks like you're kind of in trouble over here, kid"?
Well,
boy.
Seriously.
I hope not.
And like the dude, he's like, I'll buy your car off you for $300. We could use it. We're planning on bashing a car New Year's Eve this year. I'm like, oh,
$300 sounds good to me.
You want to
Jack.
bash Marla at club whatever? And Marla was the name of the car.
Right.
Called it Marla. I even had it. Whatever. Anyways,
I love it.
I thought that was awesome. And then sorry, listening audience, I am not a country fan.
Okay.
I sold it to him. They towed it over to Club Roxy or whatever, and I drove by on New Year's Eve and
watched them blow it up.
Oh my God, there were like 4 guys in shit kickers with bats standing on top of Marla, beating the shit out of it. And this was the most painful thing to me. I'm like, my punk car is being destroyed by shit kicker country guys. Like, seriously, this is a huge thing for them.
Oh, of course, because they're like, there's punk rockers on here. We're gonna bash them anarchists.
They destroyed that car, and it was such a sacrifice. And I mean, I'm sorry, Marla, you were a good car until I destroyed you with antifreeze, but
you were such a good car before I sold you to a bunch of rednecks in the middle of Rexburg, Idaho.
Oh no.
For New Year's Eve.
For a New Year's Eve party.
Driving by
Marla, you sacrificed it well. Good
there
job.
Was seriously like 300 people around that car.
Oh,
just with baseball bats and golf clubs just destroying it. And I went home crying. I had a friend. Yeah, I was like, Marla's dying. Marla's dying.
Marla's dead. And everyone's like, oh my God, who's Marla?
The Cowboys are killing Marla. Like,
that sounds like something a Sacha Baron Cohen prank would be pulling off.
Totally
right?
does.
Yeah.
It's fun. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's okay. Tangent. All right. So you're a young kid. You started a band called Nightlights.
Yeah,
right?
Nightlight. Can you believe that?
That's awesome.
Nightlights.
Nightlight. Yeah.
Obviously Kiss, I know, is like one of a big influence of yours.
Sure.
Who's one of your biggest influences that has led you through even to this day? Like, who is it that you've
band or like musicians?
Musician, band, but like as a bass player, who really stands out to you?
So I've got to go back to like one of the I got to go back to one of the OGs, which would be Jaco Pastorius. Obviously, a lot of people call him the godfather of modern day bass playing.
That's awesome.
If it wasn't for him, there probably would be no me. But Billy Sheehan, of course, from Mr. Big, Talus, David Lee Roth.
Yeah, Mr. Big.
Geddy Lee from Rush, of course.
Right.
So when I was learning, I would learn his stuff and kind of figure out what he was doing, and that really got me into it. But one of my biggest influences was Matt Hepworth.
Really?
So
Matt, how's Matt doing?
Dude.
He's great. I had lunch with him today. He's doing great. Yeah, he's we hang out every time.
I haven't seen him for a good minute. I miss those curly locks of his.
Yeah,
So
dude. I feel like I could get
was
lost in them. I almost feel like I could almost sleep or bathe in them.
Whoa, bathe in those hairs?
Whoa,
I don't know.
easy there.
Sorry, but seriously, yeah.
Matt was my bass teacher as a kid.
Really?
He's who taught me how to play bass.
He was the one that first taught me Steinberg Cubase.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Me too, actually.
No way. That's awesome.
So he's always been an influence to me as far as bass playing because he was my teacher when I was at a young age. So that's where I learned a lot of the chops. If I wanted to learn a Rush song we were just talking about, about, I would take it to Matt.
That's
and
awesome.
Matt would show me it. So Matt's always been an influence. Even to this day, he's still a big influence to me. You know, he's great at everything he does, whether it's photography, videography, music. I mean, you know, teaching Cubase, whatever it is, he's excellent at it. So he does a lot of my photos. He plays in my bands. We have a duo together where he plays bass and I play guitar.
Did he do that?
He took that photo. Yes, he did. The back of
No
blue.
way.
Yep, that's him.
I need to see him again.
Yeah.
I really
Great guy.
I miss him.
Kilt wearing guy.
That's
Is he
really-
still?
He still wears a kilt every day.
Bless
Does he
that
for
guy.
reals?
Yeah, every day he's in a kilt.
That's good old Matt.
Kilt. I didn't say cute. Kilt.
There it is. Matt.
Yeah, he's cute in a kilt.
He's cute in a kilt.
He
That's
is.
right.
Those sexy legs of his.
Yeah, so but you know, I listen to everything, whether it's rock music, and the bassists that I mentioned, except for Jocko, are rock guys. But it could be classical, it could be country, it could be it could actually even be rap, R&B. I draw my inspiration from all of it.
Nice.
Now, granted, rap and R&B is not a lot of live instruments. It's when I say live, it's like someone actually playing a guitar, but they're playing a keyboard or programming, and there's still some really cool stuff that you can get from that.
Yeah, I mean, you can pull that straight off, and
Even in today's music, like Dua Lipa, like if you sit down and listen to her bass lines,
Dude,
they're
they're
insane.
sick.
Yeah, they're so
Amazing.
good.
I always
And they're
feel
all
like
programmed.
the most
bass players.
of
Live they have real. Wait,
Real players.
did you say that the songs actually have real bass
Yeah,
players?
yeah.
Oh my God, that's
I feel
right.
like the
because I
majority
actually
of
seen-
that music though is
it's-
pretty much copied off of stuff from the 80s and 90s.
It
Like
kind of-
you
it kind of
hear a
is.
lot of that stuff.
It's
you
Austin
know,
Powers.
so I kind of feel
I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I mean, I get it. I get it. I mean, you can only do so much for 6 notes, 7 notes, 8 notes.
12 to be
4,
official.
3.
But if you
The
listen
3
to
notes, depending on if you're me, then it's
if you listen to like Dua Lipa
ACD.
asking a question, a lot of her bass stuff is done with some of it's keyboard, but a lot of it is done with a live bass player and octave pedals now. They're bringing back the bass octave
I
pedal stuff.
love
So
that.
it sounds
So
like
it's
it's a synth, but it gets that rummy. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it's
Nice throat
dude,
singing going on
Thank
there.
you. I
Yeah.
practiced that for years.
That's pretty good.
I am gonna say this.
Sorry.
That's what I want you to do on that album.
Throat sing?
I'm just talking to yes.
that's-
Throat.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Thrown.
Well,
He doesn't. It sounds like he doesn't need to lube his voice.
No, he's got it. He's ready to go.
Wait. Are
Wait,
you
do that
saying
again.
I'm
do that
throat-
again.
I'm saying that you don't need to lube your
Here we go.
lube your
Throat
voice
singing.
as
Throat
much.
singing.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive, right?
Dude.
I'm not warmed up.
Okay,
but
wait.
Yeah.
That has to be on the album.
I
too.
can- I
Oh
can
no!
split
And
it
then
into
we're gonna
3.
synthesize the
Yeah.
piss out of it.
Sick.
That's awesome.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
That is really impressive.
I've worked on that forever.
Yeah,
but
good
then
job.
I actually
Then I go to do it. It's like,
hey, maybe that's what killed my singing.
No, I doubt it. I think
No,
that warms your throat up.
no, that's-
That would expand it, actually.
Yeah, it
to be
really
honest.
would.
Yeah, but
yeah, it sounds like me after I drank too much.
I love it. I love it. It's awesome.
Where can we find your music? Where can we see your shows?
Sure.
Let's really get into the deep of what you're doing these days.
So besides I'm playing with Charlie Jenkins, the country artist.
Yep.
I play with Reloaded, as we know. So Reloaded 4 rocks, and this is the number 4. I play with the band Ghost Town as well. I do a lot of their recordings.
That's
with
right.
Steve
Oh,
Wells.
I want to be talking about some Steve. I got
Yep.
some great stories. I hope
yeah.
he's listening, Steve. You know we do.
Yep, Steve's a
Go
great
ahead.
guy. I
Keep
love
going.
Steve.
Keep going.
And then I'm currently working on, I think it's my 5th solo album.
I love that.
Let's
way.
see, 1, 2,
That's
3,
awesome.
4. Yeah, I'm working on my 5th one right now. It's going to take a new flair to it. These other ones have been definitely rock based.
Yep.
And it's going away from that. So we're doing more kind of a jazz, R&B,
nice.
neo soul kind of vibe,
I
right?
like that.
You had that one band where you and Matt were playing. You did the dual bass.
Yeah.
What was the name of that?
That was the Jonni Lightfoot band.
Okay. Yeah.
that's
All
the
right.
stuff off the Pendulum.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Yeah, that's the stuff that I remember.
I saw that at Gino's. I saw you guys playing
Yes.
at
And
Gino's.
I was thinking to myself, holy fuck, you're actually trying like a dual bass situation.
Yeah, so what we did-
It was
really cool.
amazing,
Yeah,
man.
I
Seeing
know.
it was
So how we did it is I was doing a lot of soloing, and with the guitar player, we do a lot of stuff in unison. And when I would solo and he would solo together, it would just drop out. There's no low end anymore.
Yeah.
So I needed a quote unquote rhythm bass player.
Nice.
I loved it. It was
that
awesome.
idea.
So he would.
Like-
So when we played
they're-
together, we would play in octaves. He would play the low notes, and I would play the higher notes, almost like an octave pedal, but live. So that's how we. If we played the same note, it'd just be too muddy. So I'd play an octave above, and then I'd also pull out my piccolo bass, which is a higher strung, open tuning, almost like a guitar, and play chords and melodies along with that.
Dude, didn't
So
you
it
get
worked out.
awards for this shit?
I won a couple local stuff.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, it's fun. Like a couple bass magazine.
And
I
Bass Frontiers.
remember the foot.
Yeah, the Foot's a fun one. I love that.
That was a fun one.
So, Bass Frontiers magazine, which is a defunct magazine now, gave me the award for most innovative new artist, like
That's
in
awesome.
late '80s. Or sorry, late '90s.
that's fucking
So
sick.
yeah, it was
Hey,
fun, but it's just what it is.
If you're looking someone to create insane mix spectrum, I would love to mix.
That would be fun. That'd
So,
be
yeah.
a blast. I'd love that. That'd be cool.
But let's keep going. So
Yeah,
what
sorry.
else you got? No. That's I got sidetracked on it. So what else? What else you got?
So new records, new music with Ghost Town, new music with Reloaded. We're hitting the studio this Sunday. New music from me, new music with Charlie Jenkins. I'm just playing. You can catch me on K-Bear on the weekends
That's right.
as a DJ on K-Bear 101.
Give him your time.
So
Yeah, when
it
it's
varies. Like this Friday on Valentine's Day, I'm doing the late shift, so I'm on from 7 p.m. till midnight.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then I will be on Sunday from 7 a.m. to noon.
So 7 p.m. to midnight on
Friday night, Valentine's Day.
Are you playing like Massive Attack?
Nope,
the
nope.
whole because
I can
everybody's-
guarantee there'll be some AC/DC, some Pink Floyd, and some Metallica in there. I can guarantee that,
Not okay. All right.
which
I'm
is
just
great
talking-
music. And it,
Yes, it
We
is.
won't get it. We won't get into the politics of that.
and then Sunday morning, the morning shift 7 a.m. to noon.
Oh, okay.
Very nice.
Okay.
so,
well,
you
that's
know.
good to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, and if
Awesome.
you ever want to just come in here and do a show,
I would love to. Are you kidding me? I think that would be fun.
dude, I'd love for you to be able to come in here, and then you wouldn't have like music playing over while we're having a chat and bullshit like that. Yeah, no, but I would honestly love to have you come in, and I'll
think
just
Johnny's
I'll just say
well-
you could record it from your house. And
Oh, hey, look at that.
Oh, you can use your own
You could use your
studio
own.
equipment. Holy
I have some nice gear.
I've heard you had some pretty decent gear.
I have nice gear.
Because you also had some. You had a. I don't know how it is now, but you worked Digitech. No, not Digitech.
Yeah, Digitech.
Yeah, Digitech.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
You probably
you know
have
what we didn't get into? We got to get into
everything.
this really quick before
that?
NAMM.
Oh, NAMM. Yeah.
Let's talk about your experience with NAMM and all the good things you got going on there.
So I've been,
Are you there every year?
Yeah, I've been
Okay.
there every year. There's a few years that I missed, but I've been going since the mid '90s.
Explain what the acronym means.
NAMM stands for National Association of Music Merchants. So it was started as a convention to where music stores would come and see all the vendors: Fender, Gibson, Digitech, whoever, Sony.
Find out what the
Right.
coolest
Right.
gear is that they want to put in their stores to
Right.
to sell.
And then the vendors, which is the companies I just mentioned, would show their gear. Oh, this is what's new this year. Here's our brand new guitar. Here's our new microphone. Here's our cool new preamp. And here's this brand new thing called Pro Tools.
Yeah.
Right?
Ah.
Or Lisa's ADATs or Tascam DA88. So they'd announce that. The music stores come and then go, oh, well, I've got to have that in my store. Let me order X amount.
Exactly.
That's how it started.
It's not that anymore.
No, it's changed now to where the show is more online. You see all the gear online before you go to the show now. And then at the show, you actually get to see it and touch it. And then you go home and go, okay, now I remember this, this, and this. I'm going to order it. But it's also become a spectacle
Yeah.
Well,
No,
where the rock
yeah,
stars show up.
Yeah.
And, because
it's turning into a Comic-Con sort of
it is.
situation.
It is.
Yeah.
So but it's still fun.
But it's not comical at all.
It's like-
it's a serious
It's very serious.
serious show about the most amazing gear.
It's
that's
where
out
you
there.
can show up and see like Steve Vai perform,
Yeah.
as close as you and I
You're
are.
just walking by and you see Steve Vai. Yeah, you're walking or see Zach Wild. Yeah,
You can
I
say
know.
Zach Wild.
That hurts, but
But no, you can see all these guys and you see them
Yeah.
up close and you can meet them. So and that's what the vendors have used to get people to come to their booth.
Which
Hey,
is
come
awesome.
to my booth at 11 o'clock. I've got Mono Neon playing or whoever.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
come and do a 15-minute set. You get tons of people. You get yelled at by the NAMM police because you're too loud. It's a big spectacle. But with all that said, it's still fun because more than anything, I get to see all my friends that I only get to see once a year.
Yeah,
I talk to on the phone or I email with, for business, but then I finally get to hang out with them and go to dinners and talk gear and catch up. That's what's fun about NAMM.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
Who have you asked for an autograph from? Have you asked?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Who's the one that really sticks out to you?
Sammy Hagar.
Oh, sick. That's awesome.
It was back when he was in Van Halen.
You still have it?
No, I don't know where it went.
Oh,
Yeah.
No clue where that goes. It just happens.
sucks.
Too many
It
times
does.
of moving.
Too many moves.
I wanted to get Ace Frehley, but I couldn't get to him. There was too big of a line. And obviously, as you know, as a massive Kiss fan, that would have been just awesome for me.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, yeah.
flip that up. Who was the biggest guy that came to see you do demonstrations?
It just happened at this year's NAMM show. Tim Henson.
Oh, wow.
Do you know who Tim Henson is from Polyphia?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like a modern day. He's like what Steve Vai was to us when we were kids.
Yep.
He
Right.
is the guitar player now. Yeah, that's him right there.
So here, I know that you got to just see the face, and then you'll be like, I've seen this.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
He's the whole band sponsored by Ibanez and Tama, which is all the same company, and Steve Vai's in their videos and whatnot. But Tim came and we got to hang out, and I sat and spent like 15 minutes with him, which was difficult because every 2 minutes someone was coming up to get a picture with him.
Yeah.
So I had to grab his attention. I've sent him a bunch of pedals. He's basically become a friend, and it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
awesome.
Also, I don't know if you've heard of the TikToker Freak Bass.
Okay.
He's a TikTok sensation, 100-something thousand followers. Just plays bass every night, live streams, does this. Yeah, there he is again. He and I have become really close. We talk almost daily now.
Nice.
And have a really good time. In fact, I'm going to go and do some streaming with him. He invited me to go over to his place and in Cincinnati. And
Love
we're going to do some streaming together. So stuff like that. That's what's fun. Now I'm starting to get that voice. You hear it? It's
There you go.
It's getting
There you
low
go.
and raspy.
Get the Barry White.
Got to get my hold on.
love.
It's so nice
I have-
to have people like you in our community that is able to keep promoting and building our, and showing, hey, Utah's not a black hole as much as, and I would just like to say for everybody that's listening out of state, there's nothing here for you. You can just stay there.
Yeah, go away.
Yeah.
Don't think anything too expensive.
Don't bother.
Go
It's
away.
too expensive. We don't need you. But if you want to find us, just turn on the radio or go to YouTube or buy some albums and
right.
check out Reloaded and
check
check
out
out
Reloaded.
Jonni Lightfoot. Oh, we didn't even get into how the hell are you related to Gordon?
So Gordon is my grandfather's cousin.
Okay.
Whatever that makes us, I don't know. But
That would make you third cousin once removed. No.
so we were. In fact, here's some funny stories. When I was doing the Air Supply gig, we would tour and play some of the same venues. So we would leave each other's notes. Like he'd be there a couple weeks before me, or I'd be there a couple weeks before him. It's just like, hey,
Who is this?
Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh my God. Jesus
Keep
Christ.
up, come on, man.
Where are you at? Gordon Lightfoot.
Wow.
So yeah, we would do that.
Did you ever do a tribute for him?
On my favorites, Volume 1. That's horrible. That's great radio. People, listen. I'm showing something.
Let me show you something that you can't see.
I did Sundown, one of his songs. One of his big
that
hit
is
songs.
such a favorite.
There it is.
Yeah, my dad was a huge Gordon Light. He bought all the albums. And here's one for you. My grandfather actually has a recording. So him and my Uncle Win, who had a portable record player, record recorder, they went to a bar when Hank Williams Sr. was touring all the small bars all around. Because, this is way back in the 40s and 50s.
Oh, sure.
And so they were going around, he was going around playing and he came through Craig, Colorado. And my grandfather and his brother, Win, went to the bar, were hanging out with Hank and said, why don't you come back to my place? I've got a recorder at my place. And I've got those albums where my grandfather and my Uncle Win and Hank Williams Sr. even signed the records where in their living room, set up the microphones and they were all plucking strings.
Oh, that's right.
Wow,
You
cool.
told me about
And-
this. I want to
and
hear
singing.
that fucking recording.
Me
Gotta-
too, man, because the one is finally worn out. So I've
That's
got to.
badass.
Gotta be careful.
I've got to be so so careful with
So
them.
we
but
need to do a restoration,
but I've got them.
recorded into the, we need to digitize
so
it.
I'll digitize all of that. But yeah, so we've got my grandfather and my great uncle were playing with Hank Williams Sr. and recorded it in their living room because
How
they got
cool is that?
shit-faced drunk at the bar, went back to their place, and then recorded until my dad said like 3-4 in the morning.
Wow.
Just plucking strings and singing.
That's
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
I love that.
yeah.
That's so cool. What a great story, you know?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'll bring him over next time so you can actually see it says Hank Senior on it.
That would be really cool.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Okay, so what's the future of Mr. Lightfoot?
Well, the future is this new album that I'm doing. That's what's going to be the big focus.
What's your favorite? And I know every song, I ask this and it's like, the reality of it is that every one of our songs is our children, so you can't really pick a favorite.
Right.
Which was the one that was the least trouble? Which child was the one that was the least
came together,
trouble for
just
you?
came together the fastest?
Just kind of came together the fast, the one that you still like playing to this day.
The Foot off the Pendulum album. That's probably my favorite.
Really?
That is one of my favorites too.
So
I
the
figured as well.
recorded
Yeah.
version
Isn't
is
that crazy? Because sometimes some of the least, as a recording engineer, sometimes sometimes you get those golden times when you have a full band in.
Yeah.
And somehow you track an entire song like in 3 hours.
yeah.
And
It just comes together.
And it's just like, and everybody is like in the zone, and nobody's actually thinking about time frames. Nobody's actually thinking about anything. It's just actually flowing perfectly. And then all of a sudden you have a song tracked and recorded like in the most perfect way. And then you just like mix it and then it's all of a sudden done that day in the studio.
It does the work for you. It writes itself, or it
And you're
records
like,
itself,
what the
mixes
fuck?
itself. Yeah.
Yep.
And you walk away home and you feel like you have been on another planet.
Yep, I love that feeling too. In fact, the Foot that we were just talking about on this record I played all the instruments on it and recorded this one, but the live version that we do, which I didn't bring, sadly enough, I don't think I have anymore. The live record, it's a totally rocked up version with electric guitars, and it's just I prefer that version over the recorded version actually.
That's awesome.
But that's probably my favorite one. I also like on the Blue record, I like Say Hi to the Monkeys. That's one of my favorites. And then Creep Crawl, which is on the Pendulum album, and going back to Blue, Flutterbys, which is a solo piccolo bass song.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I want to hear that.
Sure.
Your work on the piccolo bass I heard this fucking incredible.
Oh, thank you.
So
That's
I don't
nice.
know. From
So which
a lot
one
of
was the
people.
most difficult? Which was the one that you just, it took the longest where you're just like, God, this chord change, I keep fucking it up? Or like, what was the one that really
I haven't experienced one that's like really difficult. I've had some that are a little harder to write than others. Sometimes you're not feeling the vibe, like you've got a verse that just sits around for years almost sometimes, and then all of a sudden, oh, I got it now. Here's the chorus. And even though it's simple basic chords, and the whole time you're like, why didn't I just think of that, back then? I didn't do anything different.
Right.
But it's all about the vibe. It's all about the feeling that you get, the moment. And sometimes that moment's not right.
Exactly.
And sometimes you write a part for it and you
Just
think it's
doesn't
awesome. And then, the next morning you listen to it again. You're like, oh, that's horrible.
That's fucking terrible.
What did I just write? So with that in mind, I guess some of the more difficult ones were, hand me that Blue record really quick, will you?
I love the fact that you're with Steve now with Ghost Town. That really makes me happy.
Oh yeah. They're great guys. Boy, I think Colorful on the Blue album, which is track 15, that was difficult because that song in particular had everybody that played on the record on that song, and they got a solo in that song.
Oh,
so
really?
What made it interesting, or tried to make it interesting, was to keep that vibe going while 8-9 people are taking solos.
Right.
And keep it where the listener doesn't just go,
You mean like British style?
yeah,
British style
like what
live.
you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's probably the one of the biggest things. But
No, but that
difficult. I haven't really had a difficult song. I've had songs that just take sometimes a year or two to write. That's about it.
Of course. No, that happens a lot.
Absolutely.
And then also solos on albums. That's how Call and Response started. Like that's part of how this music started. Like everybody, okay, 8 bars here, 16 bars here, and just like you know this. We all know this, but that used to be how taverns used to do shit and get everybody together, and then it was a community full of like, let's all put in our musical voice into the song, and that's kind of how our cultural music started. Like,
absolutely,
it's beautiful. I'm glad. I can't wait to hear the song, because you're pulling it back to the basics.
Trying
not
to.
the basics, like the
but what we came from,
the ancestry of this style of music. Yeah, that's awesome. I like that.
I love that.
So this new record, I've just begun writing. I'm working with some keyboard players to do it. It's like I said, it's going to be focused different than what my other albums have been. I'm actually hiring a real producer. So I produced all mine. I'm like, I just want to be the artist this time and step away and let someone just tell me what to do, so to speak, instead of always being the guy, you know?
Seriously, that is a huge thing.
It's a big thing.
Massive thing.
And it's hard to let it go.
And you do have to let go. You do have to be like, okay, my job is this, and I need to let go of that part.
Right.
And it is very difficult, because you're like, okay, so I'm not going to argue, because I have relinquished this part of my decision making to this other person, and I'm going to put my trust in him.
Yeah. It's hard.
It's hard.
And that's why you got to hire the right producer.
Yeah, because your music, that's your baby.
Right. 100. Like you said, John, it's one of your children.
It is.
And this is going to sound horrible, but sometimes in the writing process, this is going to sound so bad, but you've got to be able to kill your children.
Yeah, you got to kill the baby.
Absolutely.
And,
let it go.
And it sounds horrible, but sometimes you've got to go, that's a cool song, but not right now.
Yeah. No, I can't even tell you how many
maybe
times.
this part in the bridge or the chorus could be great for another song.
Or it's totally disfigured, and I need to completely break it in half and maybe Frankenstein it.
Yeah. And that's the hardest thing about live too, because you've got so many songs that you love, but sometimes you just got to go, can't play that one anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Music's.
I mean, that's the beauty of music as well, though, is that you can take that moment and say, this isn't working for me, and take that breath, and it can inspire you to create something else or create something off of that as well, or just completely say, yeah, I got to shelf that.
Yep.
And it's funny because, we're working on the film Witch of Wander Lane, and it wasn't, and it's so stupid. It wasn't actually until this weekend that I'm standing there and we're directing, my wife and I are directing this film. We wrote this, we're producing it, we're directing it and everything like that. And it wasn't until this weekend that I'm sitting there and thinking of the process of setting up the scene, getting the lights set up, getting everything, the camera in place, the actors running their lines and blocking them and everything like that. And that whole time I'm sitting there, funny story, I was thinking of you and the process it takes you. Yes. Okay. And you shut up. No, I'm just kidding. No, but no, honestly, I was sitting there and I was thinking about what it takes for me to set up my studio before I can even pull the first string, and for you. And what I did is I was thinking of your studio setup. And if I was to go in there and start to record something, and we all know this, is that it takes at least an hour or more to get everything set up, plug in the amps, plug in everything, get the sound just right, because the air temperature can change everything. Setting up, putting the amp in a corner, like with System of a Down, he had the wall of acoustic guitars to be able to get toxicity, that sound.
To get the resonance.
The
resonance
of
yeah. Mm-hmm. And so being able to get that set up takes hours, and that's what it took to set that up. And all of a sudden I'm sitting there going, it literally creating that scene. And once the camera's set up, once the lights are set up, once we get everybody in place, it starts flowing. And creating a film,
everybody locks.
And then everybody locks in, and it's the same thing. So it's like creating a film was so reminiscent of recording an album.
Right?
Because you have the actors.
Oh, yeah.
But the difference...
It's astronomical, but it's not that much.
The difference, which is so crazy, though, is that film is still analog. You're using a digital camera, but you're using actors and everything, and you still have to go back. So yeah, I can edit it. I can put it in my editing bay later on, but at that moment, it is analog as fuck. It
Yeah.
was straight up analog work. You still
Because
got
you're
the
just-
actors acting. Everybody's still doing their instruments. They're still playing their bit.
Nobody's got headphones,
And they don't have the
Nobody's
headphones,
nobody's got
and
anything.
they all have to play their part. And if they don't play their part, it sounds off, and
Yeah,
the
it's not right.
acting's off. And if you're
like
not
you're
a
on
good
a
actor, you've
stage.
got a half-assed guitar player, you've got a bad drummer, you got somebody that's not playing their part. And
It's
it
like you're on a
was it just
sneaky stage.
it wasn't until that moment that I was like, film and music, when you're creating, is very similar in that sense of the setup and then the acting, just as it is getting into the studio, getting the studio prepped, loading up, and then playing those instruments. And it was just a really cool,
Yeah, for sure.
It was a really cool connection. with
I've
that, so.
actually always wanted to do acting. I don't know if I'd be any good, but I've always wanted to do it.
I bet you.
I've
been in
got
one
a film
movie.
I'd love to have you in as an extra.
Oh, it'd be fun. I've been so I did.
You'd be in a strip club.
I was just looking at The Shining, on
Yeah.
Black Hollywood Project.
Here's Johnny.
Shout out to Tommy Corelli.
Absolutely.
But seriously, like you could do that face.
I would love to. So I've done some acting. I was in a movie with Nick Fry, a local
Oh yeah, Nick.
I know.
musician and
I
everything.
love Nick.
It was Reflections in the Mud, and I was the guy who killed everybody. I had no speaking
Oh,
lines,
cool.
but I'm the one who took everybody out. And then,
Sick.
And then
I want that. I want that role.
Another shameless self plug was I was in Yellowstone.
Oh, yeah,
Were you
all right.
Yeah, I was in the first season of Yellowstone. I was where they went to the club and saw the band play. I'm in that scene for I don't know, maybe I think I was on set for 14 hours for 1.4 seconds of screen time.
Yeah. Were
awesome,
you
though.
you were the band, right?
No, I was in the audience.
Oh, you were in the
yeah, you
audience.
would recognize
That's
that.
awesome.
I had a full beard and a black cowboy hat, and so.
I'm gonna have to.
I'm gonna have to
You
watch that.
have to
I'll have to
pause it to find me. Oh, there he
Right.
is. And
That's
then there's
awesome.
one other scene at the very end, at the end of the night, where the lead actress is talking to I think his name is Cole. I don't even know who he is, but I'm in the background just talking to my buddy at the bar. I had no idea the camera was even on us. That was acting.
There it is.
We were
right
just
there.
hanging out talking, and I had no. Oh, look who jumped in, Nick Fry.
Hey, Nick.
Nick
Nick
right
Fry,
on.
right? We were just talking about my acting career with Nick Fry, and he popped on. Talk about
Wow,
your ears.
talk about
That's
ears
awesome.
burning.
Yeah, ears were burning. We were talking about
Dude.
Reflections in the Mud.
Dude, Johnny Lightfoot, I can hear. Oh my God, I can almost feel his hand on my back. Shit, I have to check this out.
Hold on a
Oh,
minute.
hey now.
Ah.
Whoa, easy there.
Dude,
I could bathe in his
Oh,
hair.
and Nick
I said that. I know
I forgot. Nick just brought it up. I did a Doritos commercial too.
Hey Matt,
Oh, yeah,
do you want my
that's right.
email address?
We did a Doritos commercial, and we were trying to get it on the Super Bowl a few years ago, and it was actually pretty funny. It was all cowboyed out, and we were up in the mountains of Utah, and we had a Dorito bag, and there's 4 really hot, sexy girls walking down the street, and you see us jump up on the fence because we're working, and we start whistling, right?
Oh, all right.
And then all of a sudden the camera pans. The girls think we're talking to them, but the camera pans, and it was a dog eating the Doritos.
Okay.
Right? And that's what we were whistling at. And you see us like jump the fence and run towards the girls and run right past them and go for the Doritos with the dog.
Oh, that's
Oh,
beautiful.
that's
Yeah.
hilarious,
Yeah.
man.
That's beautiful.
Thanks, Nick,
those
for
are
bringing
awesome.
that up. I forgot about that.
Right on.
Thank you, Nick.
Well, all right. I think one more time, tell everybody where we can find your music and all the good stuff.
Visit JonnyLightfoot.com, spelled JONNI, Lightfoot.com. You can find me at Reloaded Rocks, and it's reloaded4rocks.com, CharlieJenkins.com, and then, of course, all my music is available on my website, or you can stream it on most of the streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, all those fun places. And look for more. You can find me on K-Bear 101 on the weekends, DJing on the rock station, and I'm always around doing something. You can find me with Reloaded, Ghost Town, the Johnny Lightfoot Band.
He knows how to explain
everywhere.
this.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
I don't
man.
know.
And we're going to get your music back on here because
Yes.
I don't know why I didn't have the MP3s, but we will definitely have all of your music on here. I'll definitely play the foot
Yeah, for sure.
on Monday.
I'd love it. New music.
New Music Mondays, and then Around the World Tuesdays. I've got some crazy shit coming along. I've actually got people sending me music from all around the world now,
Cool.
and I got some young Dubliners.
Nice.
Because I've got some friends from the
Speaking
band
of
that are
the
actually-
Zephyr Club, they played there all the time.
all
Yeah,
the
they did.
time.
The Young Doublers were. I thought they were
I saw
local.
them.
Yeah, I know, right?
I
'Cause
know.
they
I
play
saw
the-
them like 2 or 3
Yeah,
times.
they
like,
come here like twice, 2-3
Yeah.
times a year. Yeah, so we'll definitely we got the bass player.
Holy shit.
Bren, that's going to be.
Should I submit some of my music?
Well, that's stupid.
That's
of course,
insane.
you crazy.
Because
dude.
I
I don't know. You got to
Of
know
course.
somebody. Do you know
I was
anyone?
playing some.
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
do you got an in with the station? I hear the guy's a real asshole.
Dude, that guy's a
penis.
What were we
He's a
talking about
penis.
earlier? The something toilet?
Skibbity.
Skibbity
Yeah, this
toilet.
guy was a real skibbity
Dude.
toilet
He's a
douche.
skibbity toilet.
It's a slank.
That's
That
crazy.
skibbity toilet. I don't have any
I'm gonna
idea.
eat that slank.
Who cares?
I love it.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for coming in. Thanks for following and go to utahmusicradio.com. If you're a musician, you want to submit your music, utahmusicradio@gmail.com. Make sure it's an MP3. All your metadata is filled out so our systems can play it and I can read it out to you. So
Give a shout out to Jonni Lightfoot because
Big
fucking
shout
the
out.
dude is a badass and he deserves your love.
Absolutely.
And we've known him for
least 30.
over 2 or 3 decades.
That's
and
crazy, right?
We still don't want to throw him in the garbage can.
And we're
even
not
though
old.
Yeah,
We're not old.
He's a good dude.
And if you want, hey, just follow me on all the socials on TikTok. It's all just Jonni Lightfoot, Jonni Lightfoot, Instagram, Facebook, X, whatever you've got it. I'm on one of them. I think it might have been on Blue Sky. I don't know. Who
Dang.
knows?
Sick.
There we go.
So just find me, and I need to get those streaming numbers up. So come on, follow me.
Get it.
Right
Get
on.
it.
There's 20 stations for you to tune in and listen to. There's acoustic all the way to world, 20 of them in between. So tune in. We'll get off of here and then go to utahmusicradio.com and check out all the amazing music right here from Utah. Have a good one, guys, and we will catch you soon. Later.
See ya.
You're listening to Radio.
Join Johnny C. and Mateo as we interview musicians, filmmakers, business owners, and community leaders and support our local community on utahmusicradio.com.